Welcome to Tri-State Productions at Station 3. I'm going to give the medics a tour of how to turn on FireHouse. So I'll just do a quick overview. Anyway, so you guys, once you set, I'll start from the very beginning. Once you guys establish your password, do you guys know how to get into the utility? The desktop? Okay. Remote desktop is, if you go down here, if you just type in remote desktop, it'll pop up here. It's a little icon. It's probably on the desktop. But anyway, utilities is what you're looking for. Username, or first initial username, and then the password that you established. You'll get into, basically you're getting into the desktop of the server at headquarters. Okay. It's your, it's a remote desktop. This error comes up, so I just close that. And then FireHouse is right there. You launch that again, last name and password. And here is the main screen. Can you guys see okay? Mm-hmm. The journal is pretty much the one we want to go to. So if you go to journal, it's going to pull up your journal. And this is everybody, the whole department. The three things down here are basically the things. There's a lot more things, but these are the things that we're using right now. If I had a webcam, you could probably see this better. But for right now, I'm just using my phone. Anyway, you can see right here, there's 7 incidences, and there's 8 training courses, and there's 12 journal entries. If you want to filter, these default to on. If you want to filter only to incidences, then you could turn off training, turn off the journal entries, and there's our incidences. Now, if you want to filter down to your particular station, you can come down the bottom left under filtering, and you can filter station, shift, or units. Now, what I do to filter my station journal is I go to station 3, and I go here and I hold down shift and I just grab all of this. Now basically it's the engine and the ambulance, but I just grab everything out of station 3 and then I say filter. Once I apply this filter, it's only going to show me those particular vehicles. So far right now I've had 4 calls out of this station. If you start filtering shifts and station, well, I'll get into that later, so just a quick overview. So in any event, we're going to go to this one call that you guys had here. You guys went to yourself on this one, right? Mm-hmm. Yes. Usually when you go with an officer, the officer will fill this up. You just double click on it. By the way, a side note on this filter. If you notice how it's blue right here, if you close this off just like that, it still stays filtered. If you close off and come in tomorrow, the next day, and you're like, where are all my things? If you look down here, your filter's still on. You have to actually go in there and clear your filtering right here in order to open it back up. And I discovered that thinking there was something wrong, but anyway. So that's just a side note. So anyway, going into your call here. Let me get that out of the way. Dispatch initiates the call and put in the address. Specific property is the property that you want. Usually they fill that out. What was it? Where'd you guys go?
Jerry's gas station.
So mercantile. Usually this is filled out. And another way to do it is just
the parking
search right here. Service station. There we go. Stick it in there. Ambulance type is going to be 30 medical assistant, 32. And then 321 is typically the one. EMS excluding, so we're not doing that. So usually this is filled out. So in any event, the actions, did you guys refusal or transport?
Refusal.
Okay, so again, a lot of this is, crap. Just type in the ellipse and it'll pull up. Type in, okay. So there, now you notice it's blue right there, or I'm sorry, green. That means it's okay. All the required fields are done. You notice no more yellows are here. So you can save this. It's gonna, if you saved right now, say you get a call, you have to take a break, whatever, hit save, it's gonna just give you a notice that it's not complete. You can ignore it, and it's still saved, but it's obviously not complete. You notice these things here with the red. Right here, the units responding. Now they put in dispatch, put in the ambulance, but you need to put in who was on the ambulance. So if you double click on the ambulance here,
The response is emergency. Again, a lot of this is filled out. Medical. You guys are always medical, and fire is obviously fire. We don't use the we don't use the rescue, and the only thing that's other is the BC. So you're going to always do the medical. But here on the second tab, this is only that's required on this tab, but I don't know why it's not required, but we want to do personal. So anyway, if you go to personal, you could add yourself here, but I've cheated and I've created a little group. And you can just select everybody here and dump it. I'm going to cancel it right now, but let's just add it by yourself. Now, obviously, you're doing your training number, so whoever's doing the report, you can know your training number. If you don't know your partner's training number, then you could just start typing in their name, and that's good enough too. Just skip it, and it'll fill it in. Okay. Your action code. If you click the ellipse, you'll see more things, but I just know that your action code is on duty response. Position is CM for contract medic, and that's all. And now you notice all the yellow's gone, so save it. I'll close this window. See how this kind of overlaps it, but this window, I'm going to close this window because I still have to add one more. Now again, if you know your number, I don't, so I'm going to do Glenn. Type it right, there you go. On duty response filled in because it probably pulled it from your information. Position is CM, and if again you can pull up the ellipse and double click if you're a mouse kind of guy. It's medical fills in. I'm going to close that, and I'm going to save this box because it's done. So now you have your ambulance, you have your personnel, and that's it for these boxes. So I'm going to go to the next box. Well, before we go to narrative, I usually do narrative last because it'll pull in a lot of information. So other. So in this case, I have to add, there's other things you could go in here, but it's not necessary. But if you want to explore, you can. It's not going to hurt. But anyway, so add, and this is where we're going to put officer in charge, or if you don't know what that code is, you can just come here and double click it. Again, it pulls up the date, the time, which is fine. Who is the officer in charge? You were on the back of the ambulance.
Me.
He's in the back. The back of the ambulance is the person who's in charge because you're actually the patient contact. And there you are. And so I will save that. If you were the same person as the person doing the report, then you could just click that, and it would also create this new entry. But in this case, I'm not. I'm going to say new, and in this case, I'm going to say you could either click here or just do MM for member making the report. And in this case, it's got to, I have to read the email. I think the person in back is doing, no, it's the driver. The driver's doing the report. So in this case, there you go. And pulls in your number, pulls in your apparatus. Now, if you're working at headquarters or a different, you might have to change that.
Okay, if you're on overtime.
It's already in there based on your username. It knows your defaults, but if there's obviously anything that you're doing differently, you need to close out of it. So there you are. So there's your officer in charge, the person in the back, the driver's doing the report. As I say, 9 times out of 10, an officer's probably going to end up doing this. Now, in this part here, again, I've seen a lot of reports that dispatch will, it all depends on the dispatcher. The dispatcher will fill us in like BLS to Hinsdale. Now, if it's not filled in, I got to go ask you guys if I'm not there, BLS or whatever. But a lot of time it is filled up. If you go down here to auto-generate, down here, it will take all the information that's in there and say generate narrative. It'll percolate here for a minute. It'll grab all the information that's within the report and populate into here. Just there it is right there. Pretty much this is it. The only thing that it doesn't know is where you went, and they like to see that. So I usually kind of come up here at the top and I'll just say BLS. Oh, no, it was refusal. Well, okay, well, refusal, I guess we don't have to say it because it even says it right there. The only thing that it doesn't do, though, it doesn't populate your name. Even though you've signed in, you're the one member making the report, you would think it would pull that name, but it doesn't. So you could come down here, type in the address in your name, or you could cheat by a right click and say user date timestamp, and it just pops it right there. And that's it. Nice. And then now if you notice, everything's green here. So if I save it now, other than a word spell checker, it shouldn't pop up with any problems unless, as I say, their spell checker might pop up. But that's it, and you can close it. And this one now is all done. Okay.
Now, how can you tell?
Do you want to do? Why don't you do this next one here to this, because you went to this one by yourself also. So why don't you go ahead and do that? I think this is picking up. I don't know. We'll find out. I don't have a webcam, so we'll have to deal with it. All right. So why don't you go ahead and do that one? And all right, kind of look at the camera, the monitor sideways. Just double click on it, or you could edit it because it's already on there, so you could edit it. Either way, it doesn't matter.
So with that auto generating for the narrative,
The report.
Yeah.
You don't have to use
did you
that.
just do it because of your refusal, or what if it's something a little more involved? Then you could use that. Plus, you could. Add
I always
more.
use that just because it pulls
You
and
never put
populate.
anything-
I always use that as a default, but then I go in there, like that call we had today. I'll go in there and put more
And you
specific.
could add some more.
You could add, you don't even need that one.
Yeah,
but
okay.
but I mean, why not use it? So I use
Yeah.
it and then I tweak it.
Okay.
And you can also tell by the dispatcher and how much is filled in because most of the dispatchers fill all this in.
Just residential, 1 or 2 family dwelling?
I don't know. Where did you? Oh, that's a single
Where'd you
family.
go?
Yes,
Yeah.
single family. Incident type is
32.
32. You could actually just type it in off the keyboard. You don't really have to
And then if it's motor
either
vehicle.
double click or say OK. Action taken. What was this one?
EMS transport.
Okay.
ALS.
ALS. All right. There you go. And that's it. And I notice it's green, so it's good. So what do
So
you?
I'm just going to keep going and hit
Yeah,
all the
just keep
reds,
going.
right?
So yeah, just work your way
What's
down.
the blue?
Yeah, as I say, the only thing I do backwards is the other than the narrative. So double click in there because you notice
Add?
personnel's missing.
It is add.
I just double click it. I guess you could. I don't know. I've never really played around with it. So all you want to do here is just add your personnel because they've already put the
Emergency.
person.
that's-
So you're already there. So and you could put in your number. Or just start typing a few letters. If you just type in a few letters and
Yeah,
hit
to go
enter,
last
it'll-
name?
Yeah. So just hit enter, and it should pop in there.
Okay.
Action code. This is just remember it's OD. We're using.
ODR?
Oh yeah, for
On duty
response. That's
response?
what I've been using. I haven't been told otherwise. So, and then position is CM for contract medic.
Contract medic.
And just enter. There you go. And if you notice, that's it. So say save to that, and then close that. Now, if you right click on that, another trick, right click on it, and you get more options. You can save and close. If you remember Control W, you could do it that way if you're a keyboard guy.
Save and continue, though, right?
Save. Well, you're just gonna. If you save it, you're just gonna stay on this page. So you
Oh,
want to
save
save
and
and close
save
this
and close
window.
this window.
Yeah. So close that window. So now you're still back on this one. You got to add him. So go ahead and again just type in his first few characters. Enter, and enter again or click. Okay. So position CM, and that's it. Now, if you right click down here and say save and close. And then you could actually do the same for that one because this one's done. So save and close. And now you're back here. So now the next tab, I would go to other. As I say, just kind of switching back and forth. So add. So this is going to be OC for officer in charge. And just tab. Okay, and then just tab again. Go to the next one. Just with Parley. PAR and a good enough. Enter. You don't need your mouse. Enter again. And then Control W saves and close so you can get away from that mouse.
Yeah, okay.
And then hit add again. That's it's an underscore there. That's a hotkey. If it's got a little dash under, that's your hotkey. Okay, so this one, next one is going to be member making the report. So
Member making.
MM is the thing. Tab. If you know your number, fine. If not, tab and throw in your. That's it. All right, Control W is for save and close that window. And saving the narrative. So let's go back. Now you could rather hit the see how the N is the hotkey there. It's Control N or Alt N. I forget. I think it's Control N. No, let's cancel it. That one I don't use a lot. But anyway,
Hey.
all right. So if you want to auto generate, and then when it pops up
So
the
do I
next,
right click or just hit auto
just
generate?
regular click, and then generate the report. And for the 9 times out of 10, it's not a bad basic report. But the only thing, as I say, it doesn't tell you what you're doing is where you went. I don't know if it's that important, but I've just been doing it. What hospital. So if you want to stick it down here at the bottom or even on top and push everything down, that's fine. As I say, you can stick it in the middle. You can even put it right here. Unit 534 responded to Hinsdale or provided BLS to Hinsdale Hospital, wherever you want.
Okay. Alright, they responded. And transported.
And you can abbreviate. I just do it. H.
Into the hospital.
Alright, and then I'll right click.
Alright, and then
It'll add extra lines. It kills trees when you print, but that's not my.
that means don't have to sign it? Like
You will right click, and then user and date stamp. Boom. Or you could. Oh, that's my name. Oh, that's right. It's based because I'm signed in, so you might want to, put your name on there. There you go, and say OK. And you are done. And save it, and that's it.
Cool.
Oh, now there's your spell checker that I was talking about. Remember, that would be the only thing that it would.
You should add it.
Yeah.
next time.
Okay, so that's it. So that's a quick overview. There's a little bit more. I could show you on another video maybe how to filter it and get it down to mimic and mirror your journal. That's what I do. I'll just mirror my journal. So I could just filter it down to us at this station on this particular day. And then that way I don't have to see all the other riffraff. Okay, goodbye.
Trap out.
Tri-State Productions, over.